that you can think of. So today, I decided to make a list of the villains that really stuck with me throughout my gaming time. And there are so many to talk about, but I'm only going to list 5. So list your villains below, but let's check out what I think are the best villains in video game history. I mean, Bowser is just got to be on my list. I can't have a list without him because he's the big, bad, dino, turtle, DNA mixing, whatever weirdo who keeps trying to kill our favorite Italian plumber. I think I love him so much because no matter how many times Mario beats him up or his kids, he still comes back. He still kidnaps Mario's lover, and he still is a million times cooler looking than anybody else Mario faced. So for those reasons alone, I have to put Bowser on my list for top 5 villains of all time. Last of Us, I'm actually picking, and this is kind of maybe a cheat, but us, the villains. I mean, there's plenty of people to pick from in the game that you could qualify as villains, like a rapist bastard, but humanity is the greatest villain. I could break it down and pick, any of those people in the game, but the game's very core idea is to break humans down who do unspeakable things. In a sense, facing off against clickers was less tense than going off against humans. Humans bring a level of sickness to it all, and the rape, the murder, the torture. There's just some of those themes that were mentioned in this game and people commit. And versus a clicker who's just wanting to eat your face, I'm sorry. Who's the real villain? Coming in at number 4 is Vamp. Metal Gear Solid has a lot of great villains, but none of them really stuck with me like Vamp did. Vamp was far too strong for Snake to take on in Metal Gear Solid 2, and in the end actually broke down Snake's best friend, Otacon, and turned him into a man who learned to be brave to a crying, broken brother who lost his sister. Not to mention, Vamp's kind of like gayness, and no offense to gays, it's just the icing on the cake, because he's even more badass because he's flamboyant. I mean, I'm sorry, he's just awesome, and really one of the coolest, sick, fucked up villains out there. Coming in at number 2 has to be King Bohan. Heavenly Sword wasn't perfect, had some serious problems in its gameplay section, but the game had a pretty fine-tuned story and amazing performances from so many different people. In particular, Andy played King Bohan, and he was so well done, he always stuck with me as one of the better villains in the gaming world. He's cunning, he's smart, and most of all, he's a gigantic asshole that you really want to kill. Largely due to how he was portrayed, King Bohan, hopefully I'm saying that right, isn't only fearsome, he's a gigantic dick! And that's what you want from a villain, to hate him. Alright, number 1 has to be Kessler. I know this one is kind of hard to describe without giving massive spoilers, but actually everything that I've mentioned is mostly massive spoilers in this video, because you have to know the villain to know why he's one of the best. So, if you haven't played Infamous, do not read. Kessler did so much bad, from destroying a city to hurting people to killing your own girlfriend in Infamous 1. All you had on your mind was that you are going to finish him when you meet him. Only after you hurt him bad enough, when he's on the ground, do you really learn who he is. He's you! He was Cole the whole time. He was training you, fixing you up to be the ultimate fighter to face off something in the future that you don't know what yet. He was sick, yet you understood why. But you still hated him. In an odd way. He was like a hero, but a lot more of a villain. And I'm sorry, I love to hate the bad guy, but I also love when they do actual complex characters, so Kessler has to be my number 1 villain in video games. So that is my list for the top 5 villains of video games. I'm sure I missed some of the ones that you people love, such as, I don't know, list them below so I do know. But these are my top 5 villains that really kind of stuck with me throughout my gaming years, and I just consider kind of the staple for gaming in terms of villains.